Good morning, grade 9 learners. This is Ma'am Jenny, your live stream teacher from Polo National High School, and I'm here again to bring music to your ears as I teach you another exciting lesson today. We will continue our magical journey to the Romantic era, so if you want to learn and enjoy, stay tuned and follow these online etiquettes. First, chat responsibly. Be respectful and do not comment any rude and inappropriate messages. Use the chat box for class-related matters only. Second, limit distractions. Find a quiet place, stay focused, and do not multitask. Third, participate. Be active and have fun learning. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to describe musical elements of given romantic period pieces, explain the performance practice such as setting, composition, role of composers or performers and audience during the romantic period, improvise appropriate accompaniment to selected music from the romantic period, perform selected music from the romantic period, and evaluate music and music performances using guided rubrics. Can you recall who are the violin and piano music composers of the Romantic period and their works during our last discussion? Let's find out. Choose the word or name that does not belong to the group. Type your answer in the comment box. Number 1. Simple, nationalism, imagination, emotion. The correct answer is simple. It is the only word that is not a characteristic of the Romantic period music. Number 2. Chopin, Liszt, Paganini, Schumann. The correct answer is Paganini. He is the only violin and strings music composer in the group. Number 3. Impromptu, prelude, recapitulation, waltz. The correct answer is recapitulation. It is not a type of piano music. Number 4. Eusebius, Florestan, German, Italian. The correct answer is Italian. It does not describe the composer Robert Schumann. Number 5. Un Sospiro, Symphonie Fantastique, Liebesraum, La Campanella. The correct answer is Symphonie Fantastique. It is not a composition of Franz Liszt. Now, I will introduce to you another instrumental form of romantic music, and in this short activity, I want you to feel the mood as I play the music by associating any dance movement. So stand up and get ready. Does the music sound familiar? That is Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky's Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. Let me guess, the movement you made is a ballet dance, am I right? That is because the Sugar Plum Fairy is a ballerina in the Nutcracker. What do you think made it sound like a dancing fairy? The melody, rhythm, or tempo? Let me know in the comment section below. The music you have heard is an example of program music. What is program music? It is an instrumental composition that expresses a scene to tell a short story without text or lyrics. Tone poem or symphonic poem is a kind of program music commonly written for orchestra, which is inspired by ideas or scenes from stories, poems, and even sceneries. To convey these ideas, composers such as Hector Berlioz, Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky, and Camille Saint-Saëns made use for a much wider range of dynamics, varied articulation markings, and chromatic harmonies. Hector Berlioz is a French composer whose works and compositions showcase innovativeness and search for expression. He is considered as one of the most original great composers and a practical musician. In most of his compositions, he made tone color as the basic part of his musical language. His most famous musical composition is entitled Symphonie Fantastique. Each movement of the symphony refers to a different vision. Part 1. The first movement is entitled Reveries or Passion. Young musician's surge of passions as he sees for the first time a woman who embodies all the charms of an ideal being of whom he has longed and dreamed about. It is a display of how hopelessly in love a man could be. Part 2. The second movement is entitled A Ball. The young artist finds himself trapped in his longing for the woman. Everywhere he goes, in the grand festivities, or merely amid the beauties of nature, wherever he is, the image of his beloved troubles his soul. Part 3. The third movement is entitled Sin in the Country. He finds himself wandering the fields in the evening. He reflects and hears two shepherds piping a tune. He hopes that he will no longer be alone. Part 4. entitled March to the Scaffold. Having become certain that his love goes unrecognized, the artist poisons himself with opium. The dose of the narcotic, too weak to kill him, plunges him into a sleep accompanied by the most horrible visions. He dreams that he has killed the woman he had loved, that he is condemned, led to the scaffold, and that he is witnessing his own execution. Part 5. The fifth movement is entitled Dream of a Witch's Sabbath. He sees himself at the Sabbath in the midst of a frightful assembly of ghosts, sorcerers, monsters of every kind, all come together for his funeral. Another famous composer is Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. He was known for his ballet music and the first Russian composer whose music made a lasting impression internationally. He displayed an exceptional musical gift when he started improvising on the piano and composing songs at an early age. He used his own native folk music in his symphonic works, planting the seeds of what would later be known as the nationalist movement. He also composed hunting melodies and used a great deal of folk music in his symphonic works. His works include concertos, symphonies, ballets, operas, and chamber music. He became famous in his musical poem Fatum and Romeo and Juliet. Swan Lake was Tchaikovsky's first ballet score. Considering its success today, it is hard to believe that it was not an immediate hit, but the story of a death, a princess turned into a swan by an evil sorcerer's curse, was an initial box office failure. Here is Act 2, Dance of the Little Swans from Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. Also, an important composition by Tchaikovsky was the 1812 Overture, composed to commemorate the Battle of Borodino, fought in September 1812. Tchaikovsky called his own work very loud and noisy and completely without artistic merit, obviously written without warmth or love. Camille Saint-Saëns was born in Paris and known as a talented musician from an early age. He was considered a composer who creates elegant music that is neat, polished, and never excessive. One of his best-known music is The Carnival of the Animals, which is a comedic musical suite of 14 movements, with each one about a different kind of animal. Let's listen to some excerpts from The Carnival of the Animals and see if he was able to depict the animals successfully in in his composition. The music is the fourth movement, which is about tortoises. The music is the fifth movement, which is about the elephant. The music is the sixth movement, which is about kangaroos. The music is the seventh movement, which is about aquarium. The music is the 13th movement, which is about the swan. He allowed this music to be published during his lifetime, while the rest were published after his death. Sounds amusingly portrays different animals using different instruments and its interplay of music elements. In this listening activity, you will analyze the elements of some of the romantic music. Listen and tell what the instruments used are, their texture, melody, and tempo. The first music is entitled Waltz of the Flowers from the Nutcracker Suite by Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. What are the instruments used? Is it piano or orchestral instrument? your answer is an orchestral instrument, you are correct. What about the texture of the music? Is it homophonic or polyphonic? The correct answer is homophonic. What can you say about its melody? Is it inviting or mysterious? Correct. The music is inviting. What is the tempo of the music? Is it slow, moderate, or fast? Very good. The music is moderate. The second music is entitled The Swan from Carnival of the Animals by Camille Saint-Saëns. What are the instruments used? Is it a piano or orchestral instrument? If your answer is orchestral instrument, you are correct. What about the texture of the music? Is it homophonic or polyphonic? The correct answer is homophonic. What can you say about its melody? Is it emotional or shocking? Correct. The music is emotional. What is the tempo of the music? Is it slow, moderate, or fast? Very good. The music is slow. The music of the Romantic period covers artistic contributions from the 1800s to the early 1900s, which is an era of expressing freedom, emotion, individualism, exploration, and departure from structured conventions and traditions. Most of the musical compositions of this era was inspired by history, literature, emotions, nature, and other allied arts. Program music, such as the symphonic poem or the tone poem, is an instrumental composition that conveys images or scenes to tell a story that entices the imagination of the listener. Let's check how much you have learned for today's discussion. On your activity notebook, write the letter of the correct answer to each question. Number 1. What type of music refers to an instrumental composition that expresses scene to tell a short story without text or lyrics? A. Folk music. B. Piano music. C. Program music. Or D. Violin music. Number 2. Who is the composer known for his ballet music? A. Camille Saint-Saëns. B. Hector Berlioz. C. Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. D. Franz Schubert. Number 3. What term is used to describe the kind of program music commonly written for orchestra? A. Concert overture. B. Incidental music. C. Song cycle. Or D. Symphonic poem. Number 4. Who is the composer of Symphonie Fantastique? A. Camille Saint-Saëns. B. Hector Berlioz. C. Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. D. Franz Schubert. And number 5, Which of the following was the only movement published during Saint-Saëns' lifetime? A. The Swan, B. The Elephant, C. Kangaroos, or D. Aquarium? Here are the correct answers. For number 1, letter C, program music. Number 2, letter C, Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. Number 3, letter D, symphonic poem. Number 4, letter B, Hector Berlioz. And number 5, letter A, The Swan. For your additional activity, memorize the melody of Nocturne Opus 9 number 2 by Frédéric Chopin. Then try to play it on guitar or piano. We're done with our music lesson for the third quarter. I hope you gained more understanding and appreciation of the music of the Romantic period. You now have more reason to listen to music because it teaches us, in short, that everything is connected. Thank you for joining today's class. Have a good day and I'll see you next time.